How's it going, guys? So how amazing is it that we get international rugby back? North versus South, the All Blacks versus Irish, one of the biggest games of the year. Both of these teams, they've released their squads. They are going for the jugular. There's been a couple surprise additions, namely Ireland are going for someone other than Prendergast. Jack Crowley has earned his spot, rightfully so. And we get to see Cam Roigard starting again, fully fit, ready to go. How this game is going to go, I don't know. I want to give you guys my predictions. I want to give you my thoughts and a little bit of a spicy prediction at the end of the video. So be sure to check that out. Please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's get into it because this is fantastic. I mean, we're going to start off with Ireland and then we're going to start off with the All Blacks and we're going to move on into Ireland after. So looking at the squad, Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, Fletcher Newell, strong, agile, brilliant. They've played so well through the year so far. And they are really going to cause Ireland a lot of issues. Ireland are ready. They are stacked, but this is no joke. We do have Scott Barrett and Fabian Holland in the lock position. I was expecting this. I mean, most of the squad is pretty much bang on what I was expecting. Scott Barrett back from injury. Fabian Holland, this guy, he can play 80 minutes again and again and again. In the last couple games of the Rugby Championship, he didn't play that consistently. I mean, when they played France, he was pretty much playing 80 minutes straight out. You know, he's such a brilliant find for the All Blacks. Massive talent and definitely a very, very big future. In terms of the back, I was expecting Simon Parker to start at 6, and that is exactly what has happened. The guy, he is so good. You know, he is so good, and he is a scary back row. And obviously, he can play along the back. So a lot of talent there. Ardie Savea, I don't think there's going to be anybody other than Ardie Savea that's going to be covering that 7. It's impossible. Ardie Savea is just, he's one of the best 7s in world rugby. We see it time and time again. The effort that this guy puts in, the crucial tackles that he makes, the try-saving tackles that he makes, elite. Absolutely elite performance. So Ardie Savea at 7. Now this was a little bit of a surprise to me because Peter Lakai is getting the 8th spot. I was fully expecting, especially up against Ireland, that Wallace Atiti was going to get that call up. But Wallace Atiti is sitting on the bench, whereas Peter Lakai, he starts at 8. I mean, don't get me wrong. Peter Lakai is an absolute monster, but he is not a Wallace Atiti level player. He just isn't. Now, going into the halfbacks, Cam Roigard, he's finally fully fit, ready to go. He's had all the time that he's needed to get over whatever he had. He put in some good performances at the back end of the Rugby Championship. This is why I'm so excited to see him. I am actually upset that we didn't get to see Cam Roigard play up against the Springboks. I really wanted the strongest All Black side physically possible. Cam Roigard is their best 9 by quite a mile. So I would have loved to see him play, but we getting to see him play up against Ireland. This is going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They are going to be looking to control the game. And then you do have Beauden Barrett at 10. The guy is absolutely phenomenal. One of the best in the world right now. Some might say the best 10 in world rugby. This guy doesn't stop playing. He is one of these players that he's practically undroppable when it comes down to the All Blacks. He really is as close to being undroppable as I think anybody can actually come to. So having Beauden Barrett at 10, Cam Roigard at 9, it's going to be very difficult to control this All Black side, and it's going to be very difficult to stop their flow, because when these two get mixing, it is so hard to stop them, because they're going to start finding those little holes. They're going to be keeping up that tempo. They're going to be working that phase play, and Ireland, don't get me wrong, Ireland definitely do have the prop. They have the props for it, but they have the talent and they have the ability outright. Who's going to show up on the day? Who's going to be better on the day? I don't know, but this is a fire squad. Caleb Clark and Leroy Carter at 11 and 14. Again, kind of expected. Caleb Clark coming back from injury. Leroy Carter, he's a brand new All Black as of this year. He is an absolute speed demon. So they are definitely going to be looking to use those wings. Beauden Barrett's definitely going to be using that kicking ability, finding those little pockets in behind, and then just having someone like Leroy Carter run into the ball. Obviously, the All Blacks are so quick and they're so creative when they get the ball going. So you probably will start seeing a few skips, around the back working that phase play, and then just dragging left, dragging right, trying to open up that little bit of space, because Ireland are going to defend like their lives depend on it. So the All Blacks are definitely going to have to work on just creating that little minute space and hoping that someone like Leroy Carter and Caleb Clark will be able to break those tackles and, really start causing havoc. In terms of the centres, Jordie Barrett and Quinn Tupaia. I am so happy to see this. Jordie Barrett is pretty much a set down. I mean, just any Barrett is pretty much a guaranteed start when fit. But what I've been saying for so long, Quinn Tupaia deserves that 13 spot. Billy Proctor has not been good enough, and it's obviously shown. He gets a seat at the hotel. He gets a seat on the sidelines. He's not even in the squad today, and rightfully so. Billy Proctor, in my opinion, has not deserved that 13 spot. Quinn Tupaia come on. He dominated. He destroyed. He absolutely he made a mockery out of teams. So to have him there is a definite boost. He just brings a completely different level of energy and fantastic. I'm so happy to see Quinn Tupaia here. And then you have Will Jordan, again, the number 115 outright. There's nobody that's going to be taking that 15 spot other than Jordan, and the only way you're taking that spot from Jordan if somebody else gets injured and he needs to cover in that 14 or the 11 or wherever else is needed. So dominant. The replacements is Taukeaho, Tamaiti Williams, Basilio Tosi, Josh Lord, Satiti, Cortez Ratima, Fanganuku, and then D-Mac as always. Fanganuku, I'm not surprised that he's sitting on the bench. The guy, I think he's needed to be introduced earlier on in the year, get him up to speed a little bit more. This guy is absolute fire. He's so versatile, can play around the backs. So he's definitely going to be a huge asset to them. And then having someone with his energy, his pace, that's going to come on probably around the 55th minute, he's going to start finding those spaces. And with tired legs, he is an absolute monster. And he is an absolute... He's just a hassle to deal with. So I'm really looking forward to this. Cortez Ratima fit as well. He can cover just in case anything was to happen to Cam Roigard, touch wood. Wallace Atiti coming on just at any point in the game is going to cause absolute havoc. And the ability of him, the turnovers, that fight at the breakdown, and then the same thing for Ardie Savea. Ardie Savea, his contribution can never be overlooked, because this guy... whether it's a try-saving tackle, whether it's that important pass that needs to be made, whether it's that important breakthrough that needs to be made, he is there. He is creating those moments at the biggest times. So, absolute monsters. So excited to see this. And then in terms of Ireland, let's break into this, because, again, a couple changes here. They are starting with Porter, Sheehan, and Ty Furlong. Dominant again, very strong, very powerful. Dan Sheehan, in my opinion, is the best hooker in world rugby. The guy, he scores like a winger. He's got the size of a hooker, and sorry, he's got the size of a lock, and he's got the strength of a prop. So he's pretty much got the entire package that you could potentially want. This hair is absolutely frustrating me right now. In terms of the locks, they have Ryan and then Byrne. If anybody hasn't caught Munster playing, watch Munster, because Ty Byrne is a dominant figure. Obviously, he is starting at lock here. Normally, I think for Munster, he normally keeps that 6th spot, but that is where Baird comes in. Conan at 8, Van der Fleer at 7. I was a little bit shocked by Baird, but Conan and Van der Fleer, outright starters, in my opinion. Conan, he is that leader. He is that monster that you want at 8, that's really going to be fighting. And I mean, fighting people like Ardie Savea, fighting people like Peter Lakai, Simon Parker is not going to be an easy task. So, and then obviously Van der Fleer is just Van der Fleer, one of the best players in world rugby. In terms of the backs, Gibson Park coming in at 9, understandable. Jack Crowley, which I'm quite surprised with, and I'm so happy to see it. He comes in at 10. His performances have definitely earned him the spot. He is playing better than Prendergast. He is defensively better than Prendergast, and right now he is offensively better as well. So Prendergast is really going to have to up his game if he wants to keep on Crowley's feet. So yeah, Crowley definitely needs a huge game here. This is going to be a difficult game for him. I can definitely see this being a very kicking oriented game, because the running with ball to hand is going to be very difficult. There's going to be a lot of intensity. There's going to be a lot of pressure on the Irish. So having someone like Jack Crowley to really use his ability to spread the ball wherever needed is going to be crucial. He's going to really have to have a brilliant game and a very creative game. So, I mean, we look at the Sharks versus Munster. That kind of game is needed here. A very dominant physical performance, but as well using that ability, that kicking ability, just to find that little bits of spacing behind. Let the players run onto it. And talking about letting players run onto it. 11, James Lowe. And then 14, O'Brien, speed demons, very good in the air. So having someone like Jack Crowley pumping that ball, gonna be very handy for someone like James Lowe and O'Brien. Don't forget, they are speed demons. They have a lot of pace to burn. And, you know, having them then built up with the likes of Osborne, who I think Osborne is so underrated. Obviously, Hugo Keenan not here for obvious reasons, but this is definitely a very good chance for Osborne to start to shine, for Osborne to start showing his true colors. The guy, he is brilliant, but he needs more time, and I think this is the perfect time to have that. And then the centers is McCloskey, which I really was surprised with this, with McCloskey starting at 12 and then Gary Ringrose at 13. In terms of the bench, Kelleher, McCarthy, Bielam, elite replacements for whatever's needed. I mean, either of these players are able to change a game. If you need that dominance when it comes down to the scrums, and it's going to be difficult because the All Blacks have a lot of power in the bench with Tamaiti Williams, Pasilio Tosi, and Taukeaho. They are very scary. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of plays up and how important the replacements are going to be. Henderson and then Caelan Doris. I'm actually quite surprised that Caelan Doris isn't starting. I think he might be. I think they might be waiting to use him a little bit more effectively. But Doris, understandable. Jack Conan, he is an absolute monster. So there really isn't any worry there. Casey comes in, Prendergast, and then Bundy Aki as the final player. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works. Bundy Aki is definitely a player that can change a game completely. If for whatever reason Jack Crowley is not performing, Prendergast can definitely come on. He can change a game. Yes, he's very poor when it comes down to defense, but he is an absolute phenomenal player when it comes down to kicking the ball. His passing range can definitely be improved. He's still very young, but he has that X factor. He is the kind of player that can change a game around if needed. But personally, I do feel the only reason that they're going to end up changing Jack Crowley is in the event that, you know, maybe just to rest him. I think the way Jack Crowley's been playing, if he needed to play an entire game, he would be able to do it quite easily. And that's just on pure performance. So this is a scary squad. You know, they've got such depth and the replacements is crazy. Caelan Doris can come on at any moment and absolutely destroy everybody. He's a game changer. McCarthy, Kelleher, Bielam, game changers. Henderson, game changer. So yeah, they got so much talent, and I'm really hoping to see Casey get a bit of time. If he can get a bit of time, if Ireland are nice, they up ahead, and have Casey get a little bit of minutes, that'd be brilliant. Give him a little bit more experience. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. I personally think the All Blacks are going to come away with a win, an ever so slight win. This game could be either way. I mean, Ireland have some of the most elite players on planet Earth. But I just feel in terms of experience, in terms of minutes played this year and recently, the All Blacks are fitter. They are more game ready than what this Ireland squad is together. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below. I have the All Blacks to win by 1 penalty, so 3 points. Comment section below. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.